Okay. Hello, I'm Liza Laird, a yoga instructor and yoga therapist here with Ashley Turner. And I'd just like to get started by Ashley just telling us a little bit about herself and kind of her teaching is up to today. So go ahead.
Thank you so much for having me, Liza. It's such a pleasure. We've worked together so long, for many years, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, as you know, a yoga teacher and a psychotherapist, yoga teacher for 14 years, and I'm almost licensed as a mind-body psychotherapist. So really my passion is this integration of yoga, meditation, and Western psychology and science of mind, neuroscience. And so I just put together this Meditation 101. It's a free virtual conference online and interviewing over 30 experts in fields of neuroscience, psychology, spirituality, tantra, yoga, and mindfulness training to really understand what meditation was. And basically the reason that this came together is because I feel like meditation is the most powerful tool that we have to really create lasting change in our lives. And every time I recommend it, it's the first thing that I recommend to students or clients, friends, family. And the next thing I hear from everyone is, I don't know how to meditate. So I finally, after hearing this for several years from a lot of my clients, all of my clients basically, I just realized like I have to put something together to demystify meditation because it seems like it's such sort of this mystical thing and unattainable, or people would say, much like in yoga, how if you tell someone you're a yoga teacher, they say, oh, I can't do yoga, I can't touch my toes. It's like literally 80% of the time that's what you hear. And it's not about touching your toes at all. We know that. And the same with meditation. People would say, I can't meditate. My mind is too crazy. I'm too ADD. I'm like really have this alpha personality. I can't sit still. And so I want to really break down all different schools of meditation, give people really practical tips of how to start meditating in their lives, and also back it up with the science that's happening right now. There's so much research, scientific research being done on the benefits of meditation and brain structure and within psychology and relationships and intimacy. And so I wanted to really offer this up to people, and I've been blown away, and it's super exciting to see what's happening, and it's just blowing up. It's really fun.
That's so exciting. It really seems like a fantastic way for people to get an introduction to meditation. For those people who, come to you and say, I'm not a good meditator or I can't sit still, what is kind of one little easy tip that somebody could do in order to just for the first time sitting down?
One of the first things that I recommend, that's it, is just sit down. And a lot of people that I interviewed, actually, I asked them this question and they said, start with 5 minutes. Anyone can carve out 5 minutes a day. On my conference, I interviewed Marianne Williamson, who's an incredible, spiritual teacher and running for Congress in District 33 in Los Angeles. Representative Tim Ryan, who's in Congress right now from Ohio. Russell Simmons, I interviewed. Like, these people are so busy. They all have families. They all have kids. They're all running huge business ventures in Congress, traveling all around. So if they can fit in meditation, we can fit in meditation. There's really no excuse. I also asked my friend Gabby Bernstein on the conference, what do you say to someone that says, I don't have time to meditate? And she said, I just asked someone, do you have time to feel like shit? Which kind of breaks it down. It's like you have a choice. It's just like working out. Like, you have to brush your teeth every day and you have to work out every day or, pretty often to keep your physical body enlivened and vital, to keep, oral hygiene or whatever it is, eating good food. And it's the same with our minds. And it's really mind training and it's food for our minds. So literally, what are you choosing to feed your mind? Are you feeding your mind positive, empowering thoughts, or are your thoughts spinning in negativity and criticism and self-doubt and fear? And so start small, start with 5 minutes a day and just sit. And there's a couple different really simple meditations that you can do. Number one, I would recommend a 5 sensory meditation, which is just closing your eyes, tuning into the 5 sensory organs. You can do it pretty quickly, or you can do it a little bit more slowly and refined. Notice what you smell, notice what you taste, what you feel, texture, temperature, weight of your body on a chair, Notice sounds that you hear, and then maybe open your eyes softly and just observe colors, shapes, things that appeal to you, things that don't appeal to you. So you're just becoming more mindful. You're paying attention. It's voluntary, sustained attention. The other one that I would recommend is simply sitting with your breath. And that's so powerful because the idea of meditation is to bring us into the present moment and to become more mindful of what is actually happening. In yoga, we talk about clear perception. So tuning in to the present moment, the breath is only ever right here, right now. So using your breath and just observing, inhaling, exhaling, maybe slowing down the breath, maybe putting a little pause between the inhale and exhale, noticing the temperature of the air coming in versus going out. All of these things that we start to train our mind to become more detailed and more refined. And in that way, once we apply it externally, we can start to apply it internally and then notice, what are my thoughts like? What are the nature of my thoughts? What's the root of this thought form? Is it actually true? So we can just start to transfer that self-inquiry, that inquiry into the self. Mm-hmm. So start 5 minutes a day, start short and simple, and then add 1 minute every week. So the second week, 6 minutes, the third week, 7 minutes. And that's just a good way, a nice, consistent, slow growth way to build a meditation practice.
Wonderful. Great tips. And how do you feel that meditation has worked for you with combining your psychotherapy and yoga practices together?
Well, it's interesting. So in a psychotherapy setting, I have an office in Santa Monica and in Aspen. And when you're working with people in that sense, a lot of people come to psychotherapy thinking, which in many cases it is a very mental experience. Now, myself coming from a yoga psychology background and mind-body, I'm really aiming for a holistic, spiritual psychology and integrating the body, integrating the spirit. However, one of the places that we get most stuck is in our minds. And so beginning to teach people some mindfulness techniques, it really helps liberate them out in the world. And so they can observe. For example, I work with people that, a couple clients that suffer from eating disorders or from anxiety or anger management. And teaching mindfulness gives them a little bit more pause between an action and a response to that action. So instead of just automatically binging or automatically yelling at your child or your husband, how can you start to create a moment of pause and observe that you actually have a choice in your response? And so meditation, I think of meditation as like flexing your muscles, like a bicep curl for your brain, for your mind. And so when you're building that skills, when you're sitting on your cushion or on your mat, you're really training your mind into a bit more stillness, a bit more discipline, really. And so then when you're in the moment, you have access to that tool that you can say, wait a second, actually, let me just take a breath. Let me back up. Now, what am I actually feeling? If you take binging, overeating, binging, and then purging, what am I actually feeling? Because overeating is really an attempt to maintain control and stuff down emotions or stuff down and repress feelings that are too intense. And so creating mindfulness around it increases our tolerance for discomfort. And when we're able to just sit with what is, we develop a different relationship to what is. And instead of just seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, we have a little more access to that gray area of discomfort, confusion, and that's useful in every aspect of our life. So much of our life is not knowing, is living in the mystery. And so how can we learn to do that with more skillfulness?
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Really a great description of it all. And when you were creating your Meditation 101 kind of conference that you've set up, how did you handle living in the mystery and getting all these amazing speakers together?
It's interesting. It's kind of like I was asking Marianne Williamson the other night when I was interviewing her, how is it for her running for Congress? Like, what has this brought up for her? What are the teachings? And for me, it's very much the same way. I actually had this vision for the last couple of years. I thought maybe I would do it a year and a half ago. And this little voice in my head, when I would sit down to meditate or I'd be running or whatever, I would have this impulse, like, this is a good idea. Like, I really want to do this. I don't see this out there. I want to interview scientists and, spiritualists and bring them together for free and in a really accessible way, break down different schools of meditation so people can choose which one fits for them. But the next thing that came up for me was fear, and I had a lot of insecurity around it. I was just like, what if no one signs up? What if nobody says yes? I don't know most of these people. I'm just going to be cold calling them, or maybe through an introduction. But, what if none of the people that I really want to say yes? And then finally, I just worked with that voice of fear, and I waited until I really felt like the time was right. And I just said, all right, you know what? I'm going for it. And I worked with my partner and Theos Academy, which is an amazing, portal and website for all kinds of optimal living experts. And they're producing all of the conference and handling all of the sort of back end stuff. And I just said yes with them. And we put down a date, like 6-7 months off. And that was it. And then I was like, oh, shit, now I got to actually do this, So I started calling people. I just, it took me a while, and I was working with my project manager, and she was definitely a bit slow going in the beginning, which was my procrastination based on fear. Yeah. And I knew that. I told her, I was like, I'm insecure right now, and I'm pausing. Like, it's taking me a while to get going, but I finally just got over the hump and started sending out emails, and then people started saying yes. And I think it's such, I'm so blown away by the experts that I have on. Most of these people are really my heroes and heroines. Joan Borysenko, Dr. Daniel Siegel from UCLA, Dr. Ron Siegel from Harvard, people that I just admire and use their books writing my master's thesis. And it's been an incredible experiment for me in the truth that, literally, if you build it, they will come. And if you have a dream, go for it. It can happen. Anything can happen. We can dream these things into reality, which is what this experience is for me. And it's really affirming. It's really validating. Like, when you're aligned with your Dharma and your true calling, there's something in there really urging, take that step and go for it, because you're also hearing a call in the universe. And so when you answer that call, it's not just your own sort of internal egotistical call, and I don't mean ego like in a negative way, but just your own personal call. It's actually, there's a larger field. There's something else that's drawing you forward that wants to pull this through. And people need this. We have tens of thousands of people signed up right now, and it's really, really exciting. It's really humbling. It's really affirming.
That's wonderful. It's so exciting. That's amazing. And you talked a little bit about Dharma, and I think that might be something interesting for some of my followers to understand more about Dharma and how that plays a role, and how meditation can also help you stay on your path.
Yeah. So Dharma is really, what is your purpose? I think of it like, what is your soul's purpose? What is your true north in this lifetime? What are you here to give? And we each have our own unique gifts and offerings, and some of us are really here on this planet to be mothers, and I think of my friends that have 3-4 kids. That's really their Dharma, and they really serve and offer in that way. And in our work, I hear a lot of people like, I don't know what to do. I feel like maybe I want to change jobs, or I want to, I don't know what I'm on this planet to do. What's my passion? And definitely for me, the biggest tool to help get clear on that is certainly meditation. And I saw it myself when I started. I was acting many years ago in Hollywood, and it just, it just sort of wasn't the right fit. I mean, I wasn't getting a lot of jobs, number one, and my boyfriend at the time said, you really have to look at where the energy is. Like, where are you lit up? Where are you passionate? And where I was passionate was in my yoga practice. I had started practicing yoga, and in the classes and in the practice, over time, that still small voice got louder and louder, and I realized, if they could do this, I could do this. And so, but rooting down in yourself and really anchoring in your own center gives you the confidence to continue to take that next step and move forward on your own unique path. And so meditation, I always recommend to people also journaling, which is another form of meditation, to just become still, let all the voices begin to subside, let all of the impulses, which a lot of it is conditioning or family of origin stuff, or what you think you should be doing, and to really allow that voice internally to grow louder and stronger. And sitting with yourself, just sitting quietly for an extended period of time every day, you start to drop in, and all of the mayhem and all of the, fluctuations of the mind and fluctuations of life, it just starts to settle, and then you can see more clearly. So it's really one of the most powerful tool. I think the most powerful tool if you're trying to get clear on what it is that you want to do in your life. It's just sit in stillness. And like the Tao Te Ching says, everything will be revealed. And it's actually in the emptiness that we have full presence.
And with all of your traveling, I know we talked about that you can always find time to meditate, but I'm wondering for you, when you are finding your time each day to meditate, when you're in maybe a new place, what do you do to kind of create a little bit of a sacred space for you to be able to really sit in and get grounded?
That's a great question. I'm really sensitive to feng shui. So literally, like as soon as I walk into a place, either a hotel room, whatever, I just sort of, maneuver things, move them around so it feels good. Like I'm staking my claim in the space. I often bring sage with me or sweetgrass, and I'll burn that. And that's very grounding for me. I can feel the shift in the energy. And honestly, for me, like lighting a candle is enough. I'll just light a candle, sit down, if you can get flowers or something, some fresh piece of nature in there. That's really good. I usually carry my journal with me. Maybe some tarot cards, or but just literally a candle, or just sitting and creating a little space. Like I always have a little side table, and just that's sort of like my spiritual nook. I'll put a book there, or my journal, and but of course you can do it anywhere. But whatever's really the key is that it's whatever's important and meaningful to you, and that you're listening to what that is for you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate your time and you talking to me and telling us a little bit about Meditation 101. And I'm so excited for it to come out. It comes out, tell me more again, the date.
Monday. It's April 21st through the 25th. And it's free. It's online. And you just go to this, the website, which you have below, and you'll just post. And you can go there and sign up. And it's 6 or 7 interviews every day. You can also purchase the downloads, audio and video, if you want later. But it's free, April 21st to the 25th, so definitely check it out. Thank you so much, Liza.
Thank you. Thank you so much.